Hello, welcome back to Realms of Forgotten Worlds video tutorials. I'm your host Albert Taylor, and I'd like to welcome you back if you're a returning visitor. And I'd like to talk about a new topic today. Not really anything that anybody asked for in particular, but I'm pretty sure anybody new to writing would probably want to know. We're going to talk about the equipment any writer would want to have to be able to write. Alright, but before that, let's go over our sponsor, only sponsor. The book Realms of Forgotten Worlds. Here I put my email here for any questions or anything that you don't want to put in YouTube. That may be understandable. Or in Facebook too, as well. Those of you who have visited the page, that's greatly appreciated since I'm new there and not really sure what I'm doing, but I'm trying to do a good job in Facebook. Alright, so visit us there. See all the updates. I'm still working on book 2. So write in something if you like to see it there in book 2. Alright, so continuing into this video here. Let's talk a little bit about the book, just a little bit more. Alright, so the book has 71 decisions, 234 chapters, 70 tragic endings, and 1 goal. Alright, so it's your adventure, you decide. Alright, sounds very interesting. And if you haven't seen the previous videos and you're wondering what this is, what the heck is that? Okay, this is called multi-option. It's something called interactive fiction from the 80s. We're bringing back to life. Alright, so there are books like this. They're children's books, but we're making adult books now. So if you'd like to know more about that, check out the previous videos. Introduction to multi-option. And that should be pretty clear. If not, well, please leave a message in the video and I'll be more than glad to make another video about that. Alright, continuing on. We're going to talk about writer's equipment. Alright, so this may be a little too basic for some. I understand that. Unless you're watching from your cell phone, you don't have a computer. So in this case, maybe you want to pay a little attention. This will be really important. There's some good tips here, some that you probably know, some that you may not. Alright, so as always, if I skip something, please put it in the comments below and I'll make another video. I'd be more than happy to. Alright, so question 1, what will I need? Alright, that's a very good question. Probably already thinking, okay, I need a computer. That's correct, you do need a computer. And don't think you'll be writing a book on a cell phone or a tablet. Okay, I had that false illusion once. I tried it and 10 minutes later I found out it's not really possible, I don't think. Well, not for a multi-option book anyway. You do need a computer, and okay, we're going to see here what else you may need. Alright, so in reality we need a computer, but we need an offline computer. Okay, I don't want to sound too much like a conspiracy theorist or anything, but after, well, take this into account, I've been a computer technician since the 90s. So I've kind of seen the difference between the effects of a computer online and offline. Two different animals, believe me. An online computer gets slow, sluggish, has more problems. Offline computer is a lot faster. It's a lot more trustworthy as well. Okay, and for you hackers, you're saying, oh gosh, you just run the day. Okay, so an offline computer is practically impossible to hack. Although I know a few who probably could, but it's a whole lot harder. You don't get the normal hacker to be able to hack a offline computer. Okay, it's a whole lot higher up. And if you're just writing a book, I don't think you'll be bringing too much attention to your project for anybody who want to steal it. Alright, so offline computer is a whole lot more recommended. Take my advice on that. Alright, I'm one of the veteran technicians here on the subject. So what will you need? Okay, so if you're going to be reinstalling your system I do it every 3 months just to keep things fast and efficient. CD-ROM, put your Windows disk in there, reformat, of course do all your backups first. Backup of a backup, remember that. That's very important. Okay, so you need a CD-ROM. Go through this really fast since most people probably already know this. Double monitor is really useful. Okay, especially we're going to be focusing on multi-option writing here. That's what I'm trying to promote mainly here with these videos. Okay, so you get one screen, you're writing, another screen you have your notes. Okay, a whole lot better than a notebook. believe me. Okay, so we're thinking in 3D to write this kind of book. It gets complicated, so two monitors are very, very handy. Okay, you need a good keyboard. Okay, not trying to move that brand, just the photo I got here. But more than the keyboard, we're looking for this. Okay, we want a good backspace button because we train our hands to automatically go there. I use a pinky finger. Some keyboards I found to have a really, really small backspace button, and that's not too handy. Okay, so you need a good backspace button. Do things fast because, well, in the previous video we talked about Zen state of mind. Okay, and that's actually a state of mind where we're at our peak. You say when we're writing sci-fi, we need all the imagination we can get. Okay, so there's a special moment, 10 to 15 minutes if you're talented. Okay, where you're just writing what I say a masterpiece type work. Doesn't last long, so we have to type really, really fast. And having a short space button, a backspace button, doesn't help. All right, just a tip. And for those of you who are thinking you're going to spend some money, well, you can save on the mouse. You don't really need a really good mouse, like a gaming mouse or anything. Okay, well, if you're doing this project, just a basic model mouse there. That's one of mine there. Put batteries in it and it works. It works for a while. You need a power supply. Okay, that's kind of obvious. Probably a good one. We're going to talk about some self-maintenance. Unfortunately, the power supply is a lot harder to maintain, and don't recommend opening the power supply. Try some compressed air and you kind of blow it out. That would be my recommendation. Don't try to open it. Some technicians do, and it works out pretty well, but if you don't, it's probably you want to leave that alone. Just use some compressed air. Disconnect it, compressed air, let it dry because it has some wet stuff in it, and there you go. It kind of cleans it out. All right. This is also recommended. Don't know where you live, but some places the power is really bad, fluctuates a lot. Sometimes you go eat something, come back, and you find out your computer restarted. So the lights went out. All right. So backup. I have backups. I'm really happy I have a power backup because I almost lost my project a few times. So you probably want one of these. And something from all these years' experience, I can recommend this. This is a hard drive, but not just any hard drive. This is a solid hard drive, one of the really small ones. Okay, after losing so many hard drives, I got a big box full of hard drives that I've burned from all these years. And sometimes it's not really a physical failure. Sometimes it's a little the card on it, the controller card. But try asking some of these suppliers for a controller card. It's almost impossible. All right. So a recommendation there. These are a little bit more expensive. Actually, they're a lot more expensive, but it's worth it. They don't have too much capacity, but they're pretty reliable. I would recommend this if you have a really serious project going. This would probably be something you really probably want to spend on. Maybe a couple of them. All right. And well, here's one of my older motherboards. It's a little dirty. Sorry for that, but I just wanted to get the idea across. You need a processor, memory, and a motherboard. That's also pretty common sense. Okay. But you probably need, well, depending on the type of project you're doing, probably need about 8 gigabytes. Pretty much any processor is good. It depends if you're going to be doing animation, stuff like that, then you probably want to get one of the higher up processors, a nice little motherboard. And 8 gigabytes is what I recommend for just about anything. 8 gigabytes on Word, one of the newer versions of Word. If you're doing a larger book, it gets really slow. And this is a pull really on the memory. So to getting quite a bit of memory, it's a really good investment. Okay, so number 2, now we're getting to maintenance. Okay, here we're focusing on the full-time writers, the people who quit their job and they're gonna write full-time. And there are people like that. I'm one of them. All right, so you may quickly find that you're starting to cut costs. Hopefully you cut the cable by now. Okay, the second one, I don't think you're going to hiring a computer tech to clean your computer every 3 months. Okay, that's not too wise. I'm not too sure how much the computer tech charges nowadays. Well, back in the days it was like $10. I'm talking about like maybe 10 to 12 years ago. Maybe a little bit more now. But anyway, that's still money. money you probably want to be saving and spend on other things. So you probably want to do your own maintenance. It's not that hard. All right, so if you can get your equipment out of the case, then you can do this. Well, first you can cut expenses. You don't need too many tools besides the screwdriver to get the screws out of the motherboard and all that. All right, so you only need this, a brush and a pencil. That's it. You can get the compressed air, but really all I use is the brush, just to brush off the dirt and the dust and all that. Okay, let's get into the next part. Alright, so we see here we have all the equipment out. We have our board here. That's mainly for static electricity that can still be conducted by a plastic table. Okay, we have our pencil and our brush, as you see here. We have our power supply out. Alright, something we won't be opening in this video. Don't recommend you do either. This is our computer. Well, this is my personal computer. I just got through taking out. Alright, wasn't that dirty, but we're going to be using it for the example anyway. Okay, let's check out the video card. See, here's a little pin here we have to push down in order to get it out. Alright, it's a lot easier to get out once it's out of the case. Alright, so that's out. That looked pretty easy. Well, it always looks pretty easy in the videos, right? In real life, who knows? Okay, so now we're going to see the memory. Okay, I have 2 sticks of memory here, 8 gigabytes each one. No, I make a correction there, 8 gigabytes and 4 gigabytes have 12 gigabytes total. Alright, so that looked pretty easy to get out. Just push each pin down on each side and try not to touch circuits on the surface of the memory. That would be a bad idea if your memory is not covered like these are. But still, it's just a good practice. It's a habit I have. Alright, so let's pick up the motherboard. Alright, we can see a whole lot more of it now that we have everything out. Except for the processor, that's a whole other issue. We probably want to leave that in right now. Really doesn't get dirty anyway. But we can clean most everything else. Alright, let's clean the bottom, which you can't do if it's in the case. Alright, so get that clean. Alright, the top side, now we can see here, it's a whole other side. There's a lot more things on it, but just balancing your hand like this, start brushing it off as best you can, all the little orifices and circuits and everything like that. Want to get all the little spaces really, because the dust gets in between the circuits, and dust, depending on where you live, combines with the humidity, and that causes a short circuit. Okay, so we really want to keep our motherboards clean to avoid short circuits, which may not be very apparent. Your computer just may reboot or something, just do funky things. But that's a sign that there's probably a short circuit somewhere in there, and that shortens the life of your equipment. So you don't want to spend a whole lot of money on something and just let it go because of dust. So we want to keep our computer clean. Okay, that goes for an expensive video card too, like this one, 2 gigabyte video card. Sorry. Okay, so we want to keep this clean because video cards are expensive right now. Okay, and depending if you're what kind of project you're going to be doing, you probably don't need such a big video card. Some already come integrated in the motherboards, but in the case of using Unity 3D and working with animations, that was the main reason I invested in this video card. And right now it's the basic equipment right now, because video cards are really expensive. I think they're up to 8 gigabytes right now. So this is a basic one. Alright, the pencil, you've probably been wondering what that was for. Okay, that's what that's for. It's for cleaning the little pins there, which can get corrosion on them. Want to keep those clean. Sometimes the equipment is perfectly fine. You just have to clean off the pins. Alright, once you do that, just brush it off. Okay. Alright, that may have gone very well for some, maybe a little more difficult for others, and especially if you're using a computer case, that may be going a little harder. There's some really small computer cases. Actually, that's a good point, not to get this video too long and too into that, but avoid the small little computer cases. they increment the heat of your computer, make it slower. Get a bigger computer case, or like me, I don't use a computer case at all, and I'll tell you why here in a few seconds. Okay, so now that we have our computer cleaned, let's see what mine looks like. Okay, so this is my my computer. For many years, I used a computer case to avoid this. Actually, what you're seeing here, it may look like a disaster, but I haven't had to change out equipment for a while, and I started thinking about that, why that could be. Oh, let's take into account the power supply. Let's talk about that a bit. All right. So for many of you, I imagine if you noticed when your computer is going a little wiry, you touch the case and it shocks you a little bit. All right. And guess what? That's your power supply. Okay, it's has a little short in it. It's projecting electricity into the case. All right. So imagine this: you have a metal case, you have a metal power supply, you have electricity running through your computer case. All right. Imagine that. Where's your hard drive? You have a normal hard drive, usually a metallic too, right? And that's connected right into your computer case. All right. So let's add a 1, 2, and 3 electricity, power supply, electricity computer case, electricity going into your hard drive. All right. It took me a while to figure that out. I guess we're kind of just programmed. But think of it this way. I don't think this design was by accident. Um, these companies, they earn money when they sell, right? Logical. So if your computer doesn't go bad, they don't sell. Logical, right? They don't make money. If your computer lasts 10 years, they don't make money. Okay, so voila, my computer is lasting a whole lot longer, and I have the power supply separate from everything else. And it actually happened maybe 2 months ago. Power supply decided to go bad. Not sure, haven't really investigated what went wrong with it yet. But the power supply went wrong and it went bad and didn't affect anything else. I just disconnected it and I set it aside and connected another one. It didn't affect anything at all. Okay, the only thing that could affect you here, and it happened to me one time, if you have a rat problem or a mouse problem. Okay, they like motherboards for some reason. They get on them and they urinate sometimes. Okay, so if you're considering doing this, probably control your pests, because or put it up really high like I do, and that would reduce the risk of a rat or a mouse getting on it. I have a project. I'm going to make some little box out of acrylic. That's a future project. Actually, I've seen some products like that you could probably buy, or if you want to do it yourself. But if you're going to do writing, you probably don't want to get distracted by other things. So just you probably buy the case. Actually, it's really curious. The acrylic cases are more expensive than the normal ones. Could be a reason for that, right? Okay. Well, it's something to think about if you want. But this works. Okay, I've proven this one. This has been working for over 2 years, almost 3 years actually. And it's working out really well. Just got to keep it clean because it's an open air. By taking the temperature of the computer, it's about 67 degrees. I think it's in Celsius here. They measure a temperature in. But it's relatively cool for a computer that's in a case. That can go up at least 30 more degrees. Okay, so the cooler the computer, the faster it runs. Alright, that's a good tip there. Let me know in the comments if that works out for you. Alright, so the question in your mind could be appearing right now. How about this one? Anything else? Actually, yes, before we end this video, we're going to see a few more things that you probably want to consider here in your equipment. One good thing would be probably this. It's a good way to store your data. If you write something down and you want to take it with you. This is something I heard before, and it's definitely true. Never put all of your eggs into one basket. Alright, so do a backup in the office and do a backup here in your pen drive, they're called. Alright, your memory stick. Okay, do a backup there, put in your bucket, take it home. Alright, just some advice there. I hope it works out for some. Imagine if anything happens in the office and you have, at least you have your data on here. Okay, just don't don't think nothing's gonna happen in the office and everything's gonna be safe. Hopefully it will be, but never put all of your eggs in one basket. All right. Okay. So what else would you need? Our second thing on here on the last list. How about one of these? Some headphones. All right. Depending on where you're working, if you're working at home, these will really come in handy. And I recommend the big ones because they go over your ears. They cover your ear completely. So if you have kids or an angry wife, all right. So if you have any of those combination of things in your house, you can put these on, and they would probably get angry because you're ignoring them, but at least you can get a few more minutes in of work. Hopefully you have your own private space somewhere where you don't hear things, but if you do, I know all places aren't free of noise. I worked in an office, but you can hear everything in the streets. It may record that someday, so maybe you can hear that. That really interfered with my Zen state of mind, you could say. Alright, so I invested in some headphones. A very, very good investment, believe me. Helped out a whole lot. Okay, so you have the headphones. What else could you have? An accessory to this, maybe, perhaps? How about this? Alright, this is actually a tip I hope you really like. I haven't seen this tip anywhere. This is a really good, some really good advice. Find some theta waves. There are other ones here. You got the beta and alpha. Try to avoid the delta waves if you don't want to sleep. I've used those and they put you to sleep. All right, so the alpha is okay, but I think it's more for physical activity. It kind of gives you the, I don't know, a little energy to do something. Which, and if you're riding, then it's kind of counterproductive because you want to be sitting down. All right, so you could use beta. That works. But I found it a little more useful to use theta waves. Okay, theta waves are pretty useful. They keep you calm. They keep you concentrated. It says here that helps you problem solving. I think that's definitely true. All right, especially with this multi option science fiction, you have a lot of problem solving. So I definitely recommend theta waves. Hope this video helps you. If it does, please comment the link below and visit the Facebook page, like this page. All right, do all that. It helps me a lot, not financially, but it helps me. I guess it improves my, you could say, the self-esteem a little bit. All right, not to depend on that, but it does help. Everything helps except for criticism. But if you want to help me in that way, then that's definitely the way. And thank you for that, and hope you're around for see the next video. Any recommendations, put them in the part below. I'll be more than happy to make the video. Thanks a lot.